Welcome back to Awesome Possum Hobbies and Games. I'm Chris, and today we got another mail day from TCG Player. Let's see what I got. So here we go with another TCG Player order. I got a big pile of mail from a few different of the TCG Player associated retailers. So let's go ahead and see what I got and see if anything was cool or if I got some bad picks. Let's go! So here we are with another mail day from TCG Player. Starting off with Genesis of Daleks, a saga that costs 2 black, 4 colorless. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, all is create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace for each lore counter on Genesis of Daleks. Gets out of control after a few turns. Third turn you get 3 3/3s. That's not terribly bad, but on Chapter 4, target opponent faces a villainous choice. Destroy all Dalek creatures, and each of your opponents lose life equal to the total power of Daleks that died this turn, or destroy all non-Dalek creatures. It can be kind of backbreaking, especially if there's 5 of them in play, or even 6 of them in play. 6 times 3, and if there's no bonuses on it, 6 times 3 is going to be a significant amount of life loss, being 18. So going on to the next card. This is a Serum Visions. This card's been around for a while. I got this one specifically for my Lord of the Rings deck that's going to care about Scry. For 1 blue, this one's a Secret Lair version of it. 1 blue, sorcery, draw a card, and then you get the Scry too. Here's a fancy version of Opt from the Strixhaven specialty set. For 1 blue, it's Opt, instant, Scry 1, then draw a card. This is a great include for that deck. Kensosis, Priest of Thassa, 1 blue, 1 colorless, legendary creature, a Merfolk cleric. It's a 1/3. If you would scry a number of cards, scry that many cards plus 1 instead. For a blue or green, plus 3 colorless, look at the top card of your library. If it's a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, you may put it on the bottom of your library. Lost Isle of Calling, 1 blue, 1 colorless enchantment. Whenever you scry, put a verse counter on Lost Isle Calling. 2 blue, 4 colorless, exile Lost Isle Calling. Draw a card for each verse counter on this card. If you had 7 or more verse counters on it, take it an extra turn after this one. Activate only as a sorcery. Next card, Gladiol, Elven Queen, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless, 4/5 for 4 mana. That's kind of interesting. Legendary creature, Elf Noble. Will of the Council. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another elf entered the battlefield under your control this turn, starting with you, each player votes Dominion or Guidance. If Dominion gets more votes, the ring tempts you, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on your ring bearer. If Guidance gets more votes, you get to, or is tied, you get to draw a card. Elrond, Master of Healing, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless, is a 4/4 legendary creature. Elf Noble, whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is a number of cards looked at while scrying. This way, whenever a creature you control becomes, with a +1/+1 counter on it, becomes a target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Netherese Puzzle Ward, 1 blue, 3 colorless, enchantment. Focus Beam. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4, scry X, where X is the result. Perfect Illumination. Whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. For Retreat to Corahelm, 1 blue, 2 colorless enchantment. This is the Secret Lair version. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. You may tap or untap target creature, and then you can scry 1. Gauntlet of Power. For 5 colorless mana, this is a great artifact. As it enters the battlefield, you have to choose color. Creatures of the chosen color get +1/+1. Whatever basic lands tap for the chosen color, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of that color. It's a poor man's Gauntlet of Might, but of course you can have it in different colors. Rionia, Fire Dancer. 2 red, 3 colorless. It's a 3/4 legendary creature, human wizard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens. There are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instants and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. They gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of your next end step. Cool for a spellcasting deck. Swiftfoot Boots. This is a great card. I wanted to get a couple copies that are the extended version. For 2 colorless mana, it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. And it only costs 1 to equip. I get a couple of them. My Drowsy deck needs one. Next card is Geometric Nexus. 2 colorless mana artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, instant or a sorcery spell, put a number of charge counters on Geometric Nexus equal to the spell's mana value. Pay 6 and tap it. Remove all charge counters from Geometric Nexus. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on, where X is the number of charge counters removed this way. So the next card is a 2-drop artifact called Geometric Nexus. It's an artifact it's a static artifact. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, put a number of charge counters on Geometric Nexus equal to that spell's mana value. You pay 6 and tap it. Remove all charge counters from Geometric Nexus. You get to create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of charge counters removed this way. The next card is Narcy, Fable Singer. 1 green, 1 black, 1 white, 1 colorless. It's a 3/3 legendary creature, human bard with lifelink. Whenever you sacrifice an enchantment, draw a card. Whenever the final chapter of an ability of a saga you control resolves, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is that saga's mana value. I got this specifically for my Tom Bombadil deck that I'm working on. I think it's going to be a great auto-include. Eminato, the Fate Shifter, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 white, and it's a 3 loyalty legendary planeswalker. For adding +1 loyalty, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. For losing 1 loyalty, exile another target permanent you own, and then return to the battlefield under your control. -6, choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Eminatu, the Fate Shifter, controlled by the player on the chosen direction. And this can be a commander. I got this for my Tom Bombadil deck as well. Adrek, Mathematical Genius, 1 blue, 1 colorless. It's a 1/1 legendary creature, human artificer with the ability 1 blue, 2 colorless. Tap it, copy the target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ultimate Sacrifice, 1 blue, 1 colorless. Sacrifice this card, counter target activate ability or triggered ability. I'm thinking about this in a couple different decks, either an artifact-based deck or, even better, in that Tom Bombadil deck. Next card is Patron Wizard. It's a 3 blue. This one's a from Secret Lair, 3 blue creature. It's a 2/2 creature, human wizard. Tap an untapped wizard you control, counter target spell unless its controller pays a colorless mana. So the more wizards you have in play, the more likely that you're going to be able to counter something. It's going to go in my wizards deck. Next card is Ian Chestron. 1 white, 2 colorless, legendary creature, human scientist. It's a 2/3. Science teacher. Each saga spell you control has replicate. The replicate cost is equal to its mana cost. Another card for my Tom Bombadil deck. Susan Foreman, 1 green, 1 colorless. It's a 1/1 legendary creature, Time Lord. If you would planeswalk, instead look at the top 2 cards of your planar deck, put one of them on the bottom of your planar deck, and put the other one on top, then planeswalk. And she could tap to add a green mana, and even better, the reason why I got her is because she's a mana dork. that is a Doctor's Companion. We'll see where we go with that. I was trying to bling out one of my decks. Got a borderless Terramorphic Expanse, and a borderless Path of Ancestry, and a Search Foil Temple of Plenty borderless. Next card is Council of Deliberation. For 1 blue, 1 colorless. It's an instant. Draw a card whenever you scry. If you control an island, you may exile this card from your graveyard. If you do, you can draw a card. Next one is for my red-blue deck. It's called Reinterpret. It's blue, red, and 2 colorless. Instant counter target spell. You may cast a spell from with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. Inspiring Refrain. I actually got a different one than the Doctor Who one because I like this artwork a little bit better. If you don't know what it is, it's 2 blue, 4 colorless sorcery. Draw 2 cards. Exile Inspiring Refrain with 3 time counters on it. And then it has suspend 3. So you can suspend it for 1 blue and 2 colorless. Just get it in place so you're not paying that 6 cost. And then whenever it resolves, you get to put it back in exile with 3 counters on it. Next card is Temporal Anchor. 3 blue, 3 colorless legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 2. Whenever you choose one or more cards, whenever you put one or more cards on the bottom of your library while scrying, exile that many cards from the bottom of your library. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with this card. It's a great legendary artifact. Another card from my red-blue timey-wimey deck. It's 2 blue, 3 colorless, Temporal Manipulation. It's a sorcery. You get to take an extra turn after this one. Another one. This one costs 2 blue, 5 colorless. You get to take an extra turn after this one, and then you have to exile it. But the kicker is you can miracle it. So if it's the first card you draw on your turn, you can play it for just the miracle cost of 1 blue, 1 colorless. A full art Sublime Epiphany. 2 blue, 4 colorless, instant. And you get to choose 1 or more. So you can counter target spell, counter target activate ability or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token of copy of target creature you control, or target player draws a card. It's a great card. You can do a lot of things with it, but of course it does cost 6. Next card is Reverse Polarity. 2 blue, 1 colorless, instant. You get to choose 1, counter all spells that are currently on the stack, switch each creature power and toughness until end of turn, or creatures can't be blocked this turn. It could be a great game ender, or it could just be a counter. Next card is called Deep Sea Kraken. It costs 3 blue, 7 colorless. It's a creature, Kraken, 6/6. Deep Sea Kraken is unblockable, and it has suspend 9. So it'll be a while if you suspend it for that 1 blue, 2 colorless. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, if Deep Sea Kraken is suspended, remove a time counter from it. So whenever an opponent plays a spell, you get to quickly bring it into play, which is kind of cool. Next one is Time Beetle. 1 blue, 1 colorless. Creature, alien, insect, 1/1 with Skulk. This creature can't be blocked with creatures with greater power. In Parallel Universe, whenever a Time Beetle deals damage to a player, you get time travel. So you get to add or remove time counters from cards that are in play when it deals damage. Next card is a Surge Foil Borderless of Yasmin Khan. 1 red, 3 colorless, legendary creature, human detective, 3/3. And then you can tap her to exile the top card of your library until your next end step you may play it. Next one is an upgrade for my red-blue deck. I just wanted a full borderless version of this for 1 red, 2 colorless. Sorcery, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards until end of turn. Put the 4 time counters on each of those cards that has suspend, and you can suspend this for 1 red mana for 4 counters. Zaphi Thunder Conductor. If you look at the art very carefully, you can look, and I think it really is, the baddest mamma jamma ever, Shaft himself. For 1 red, 1 blue, 2 colorless. Just happens to have all of his hair. Samuel L. Jackson would be proud. Legendary creature, human shaman, 1/4, magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you get to scry 1. If that spell's value is 5 or greater, you get to create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mounted value is 10 or greater, this creature deals 10 damage to an opponent, chosen at random. I don't think that last ability is going to go off, but the first two, if he's in play, he's going to get a ton of value. On top of that, the one thing I wish he was, instead of being a shaman, I wish he was a wizard. Next one is a full border, or a borderless 12th Doctor, 1 blue, 1 red, 3 colorless, legendary creature, the Time Lord Doctor, 4/4. The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand this each turn has Demonstrate. Whenever you copy a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the 12th Doctor. So you're able to, whenever you play those fun spells that take you extra turns, you get to copy them. Or if you go through and play one of these Sublime Epiphanies, that's even better, because then you can go through and do all the abilities again, and that's a lot of fun. I think it's a cool card. And last but not least, I got myself, for my red-blue deck, a pile of the most beautiful mountains. I think these unstable lands are fantastic, especially right now that their prices are pretty decent. I got these for probably a 2 1/4 each, and these used to be $4 to $5 each. The islands and swamps are still kind of expensive, but I think they're worth it for a great update to a deck. So if you don't have some premium lands in your deck and you want some, these are always a great option. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week, and of course, keep it rolling. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day, and keep them rolling.